By Wednesday or Thursday of this week, jurors could start deliberating on the fate of entertainer Vybz Kartel and four other accused of the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. High Court Judge Justice Lennox Campbell today covered his third day of summation, in which he is explaining the evidence presented and how the law applies to it. He told jurors that he has at least another day to go. Dara Smith continues her coverage.
3 days of summation, and so far the judge has covered the evidence of 11 of the 30 witnesses. But today he indicated to the court that he will now focus on the evidence presented by the expert witnesses, numbering about 6. Justice Campbell told the jurors that if his summation is not completed by tomorrow, he should be very close to completion. Today the judge covered the evidence of 3 witnesses, 2 cops and the star prosecution witness. And it was this witness who received the most attention, with the judge first looking at the issue of visual and voice identification. He told the jurors that the star witness has identified 4 of the 5 accused by way of visual identification. The judge urged the jurors that in considering the issue of visual identification, they should consider as well if the star witness was telling the truth. He said if they find that he's not, they should disregard his evidence. It is possible for an honest witness to make a mistake on identification. There have been cases where individuals have been prosecuted on mistaken identity. And this is why the judge today urged jurors to take into consideration certain factors as they relate to visual identification. Did the star witness know the accused? If there was anything to interfere with his identification? And if he's seeing the person for the first time, what made the witness remember the individual? It was then on to the voice identification. The star witness identified a voice he said belonged to accused Shane Williams from 3 words he allegedly said in the 2-minute 17-second video retrieved from Vybz Kartel's phone. The judge told the jurors that they have to be careful. People sound like people. The danger is more acute than visual. You must examine the duration of his speech, whether there was sufficient words to identify the voices, and whether there was familiarity. Now the judge reminded the jurors that the star witness gave his first of 3 statements 8 days after the incident is said to have occurred. That is, where the witness and Lizard went to Swallowfield Avenue to face questioning from Vybz Kartel about the missing guns. The witness said he saw Clive Williams being held, ran from the room in a bid to escape, was chased and brought back to the room where he saw Lizard on the floor motionless. But the defense has been arguing that the star witness and the police fabricated that evidence. Essentially, the defense's argument is that the police asked and answered the questions given in the statements. The judge to the jurors: "The question I ask, you don't have to accept it as the facts. You can throw the evidence through the window as far as possible. The question I ask, however, after that evidence is given, how the police know that 1 week after, Lizard Nago just get up and walk and prove them to be liars?" The judge also reminded the jurors that the men were summoned to Kartel's Swallowfield Avenue property to face their trial for the missing guns. Has the guns been recovered? You heard there would be problem if the guns weren't recovered. It's a matter for you, Madam Foreman, and members of the jury. Collectively as a group, I would say you have about 460 years of Jamaican sense. Use that common sense very well, and your experience very well. Justice Campbell again instructed the jurors to consider the evidence against each accused separately, pointing out that their verdict need not be the same. Dara Smith, TVJ News.